Hey, everybody, it's Bill from Matt-Trakker.com, and welcome to this episode of Behind the Mask. Before we get started, if you haven't done so already, please click the subscribe button. It's right there. If you haven't done it, it's pretty easy. If you like what we do, there's no obligation, obviously, but it helps keep me going and helps keep Mask alive. So thank you to all that are subscribed, and thank you to those who will in the future. So there's also a thanks button there too as well. You don't have to contribute anything, but anything you do contribute goes directly toward the site and toward our giveaways. So, and thanks for that. Thanks for the thanks. So, I'm setting up what's going to be happening for me over the next 10 episodes after this one. I might combine some of the episodes if there's not a lot of, context to go through. That isn't just me kind of saying the same thing over and over. That's a little redundant, as I just did there, over and over and redundant, same thing. So there was no need for both of those, but I did it anyway. So the racing season 2. What I've done with this is I've purposely forgot it. And I know that sounds a little harsh, but it was part of this exercise, really. I wanted to make sure that when I watched them to be able to give a fair review of the episodes, I didn't really remember too much of it. And luckily at this point, I do not. The only thing I remember are a couple titles, and that Billboard Blast is in a couple episodes, so I can't wait for that. And yeah, I don't know. But what I wanted to talk about was just the season itself in this episode, and then get your opinion on some of the thoughts I have, because I do value them, and I love the comments and the interaction that we've been having. So thank you for that. For just general knowledge, if you're looking to buy the DVDs, a legal set, Shout Factory does not have the episodes for season 2 in it, racing season. I don't know why. I never actually asked, but fun fact is that there is some information about our site in here, and one, and the DVDs. But if you're looking to get the complete set of all 75 episodes, season 1 was 65, season 2 is 10, and that's what we're going to talk about in a little bit. Madman Entertainment is where you want to go. I don't see these pop up too often, so I can't really point you in a direction. I don't think they're making them anymore. So if you see them on eBay or Amazon and you're looking for it, I think 60 was what we paid way back in the day. 60. So range it around there, and kind of go that route. Now you can also watch them on YouTube, and I think Tubi has all the episodes as well. So you can go that route. You don't have to buy them. You can enjoy them yourself in any fashion. Oh, and fun fact, the covers are done by the same cover artist, Iman. I think I'm pronouncing it right. If I'm not, I apologize. It's been a long time since I've talked with him. He does a ton of stuff for packaging and a lot of Masters of the Universe and things of that nature. So his artwork is really cool. So if you see anything that's posted like that, like those images, there's a couple more that people are just kind of ripping off and selling. That's where it came from, for reference. Now the season itself. A lot of people do not like it. And there are legitimate reasons not to like it. Now, I forgot the episodes, but I remember the premise of it. And I'm just kind of generalizing around it. Season 1, 65 episodes, really cool stories, they tie into history and things that were common at the time, and it just flowed in a way that made sense. Now, there was no continuity, which I know might throw some people off, or there was a little bit. It still flowed in a way that you watch an episode and you're still watching the adventures of Matt-Trakker and his, the M.a.s.k team, and it made sense. Then season 2, something doesn't line up with it. As I mentioned, there's 10 episodes, and those episodes have the original season 1 intro. There's no change to it at all. That's it. It just continues with it. But none of those elements really appear, aside from, I think Gloria is there for like 3 seconds, and then maybe T-Bob for like a second. I don't remember exactly. Elements from season 1 go over to season 2. I think there's a point I was trying to get to there, but the intro doesn't tie into really anything with the M.a.s.k team anymore. The ones that kind of roll over are on the Venom side. And it's a shame that the premise didn't work, because the toy line gave us some of the better ones out of the line. Goliath and Manta were 2 of the better ones out of that whole entire line, not just that series. And then there were some other ones that, weren't great. I won't mention it by name, but maybe a picture will pop up here. And oh God, every time I think of that thing, it throws me off. But 10 episodes. Now, I'm not a Hollywood producer, if you didn't know that. And I would imagine that at that point in time, the voice actors would have recorded more lines. Now, I've talked to pretty much everybody on the cast, and I've talked to some crew. I haven't talked to any showrunners yet. And I think a lot of answers would be able to be divulged there, but I haven't been able to get linked up with anybody. Same thing with Kenner employees. I just can't make the connection. I would love to talk with them, but I haven't done so yet. So I have to speculate. And in my discussions and conversations, there are things that make me think that more was recorded, but just wasn't used. It was maybe they want another 10 or 20 episodes, over top of the 10 initially. Because it doesn't make sense. Why would you go 10 episodes in to something and then just cut it? And again, all we could do is speculate, and it's been talked about on other channels, and I've talked about this on this channel, and I'm pretty sure Brian and I talked about it on Talking Overtime. I don't understand it. I don't understand how it was made. Why was there such a jump from one to the other? From solving, mysteries and going through history and all those things that I, briefly mentioned about season 1, to essentially things that are in the Cars movie. Where was it heading? Where was it going? Because the cut is so abrupt. There's Raiders of the Orient Express, then Demolition Duel to death. There's nothing in between. There's no anything that even explains what happened in the cartoon. Now, do I expect that to be a thing? No, not really. But if it jumps that far, there has to be something. I know there wasn't like an origin story made, and that would be really cool to see in a movie or in a cartoon for whoever decides to pick that up. It doesn't make sense. And as I'm talking and complaining about this in the comments, if you have any ideas, again, let me know what you're thinking or what you think makes sense. But so I remember Demolition Duel to the Death a little bit, and it's a demolition. So you go from solving a mystery on, a pretty popular story with the Raiders of the Orient Express, and then you go to demolition. And that's all it is. It's that and some random races to, I don't know. It's so weird. And when I say this, there's nothing, like, don't take offense to it. I'm not a car guy. So I know it's weird that I collect these things behind me, but it's more about the superhero lore for me. And just the vehicles themselves. The vehicles are characters in their own right. And I just love everything about it. It's, if I was a car guy, I would gravitate toward it, I think, as well. But because I'm not really a car guy, the second season also doesn't really resonate to me. And I would imagine that, 7-year-old self of, me would be like, okay, what's happening? I don't know. That's a long time ago. Where did it disconnect? And me not being a car guy is me speculating, like, why don't I like this season? I'm also not a billboard guy, if you're wondering. It really makes you think on that part too. Why don't I like it? What? And that's also part of this exercise, is me trying to maybe reevaluate the season itself. Maybe it's not as bad as I remember, but I know that I remember it badly. And I've blocked the episodes. I haven't watched them. If I watched anything in the past, recently with my son, it would have been something from season 1. What happened with this? What happened? Is it the fact that Venom and M.a.s.k know who each other are? And I just saw that Duke fell down. His legs are pretty loose. He's on a stand though, so I don't know how that happened. I'll have to fix him later. It's, I don't know. It's hard to really put your finger on it. It really is. The M.a.s.k and Venom thing, knowing each other is fine, but how did it happen? What's the story? There's so many plot holes to carry. It doesn't make any sense. And I know that with Brian's rendition, Kerouac, of Mask 86, he does a really good job of tying in that racing season into his comics. And I'm not going to give it away, but check it out. It's on our website, a couple other spots as well. And that made me appreciate the season and the concept. But what we were presented was a rushed mess, and with no explanation whatsoever of a lot of the key plot holes that we see. Man, it's, it is difficult to say things negative about M.a.s.k. I am, always going to champion it, but this has always been a point of contention, and not a recent point of contention with people's problems with IDW's rendition of the M.a.s.k line. And I'm going to talk about that in more detail on day 2. But I did talk about that with boulderhill.net a little while ago. It's a pretty popular episode, actually. But I want to talk about that a little bit more on some of the aspects. That'll be a future episode. But preparing to go into this endeavor, I'm going in. I'm getting this out now, and I want to go in with an open mind to really give my opinion to the best of my ability in my review, with some comedy thrown in there. My definition of comedy, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. And that's my rant about season 2. I want to hear, if you've had built up frustration of it, put it in the comments there. Hopefully it'll help you vent it out and get that off your chest. But it's going to be something to behold, really. And I'm looking forward to it because like I said, I really want to give it a solid chance. I remember it badly and I don't want to remember it that way. But if that's the way I'm going to remember it, so be it. This is going to be the best way I know how to do it. And I just hope I do it justice, because the voice acting is fine. There's no issue there. It's everything else about it is just not great. I remember the voice acting being good because that was good throughout. That was never in question. I don't know. I'm going to have to do this maybe on Mondays record, since Mondays are already hard enough to begin with. Really bring let's bring I have a case of the Mondays, and then bring that down a couple more levels too, just to really flatten out that day. But if you have any questions about what I'm about to do, why I'm about to do it, if you have any frustrations about season 2 or just general questions, or if you know anything about season 2, post in the comments, get a hold of me however you can. And yeah, I'm a little nervous. It's weird. But until next time, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to help keep M.a.s.k alive. And this is Bill from Matt-Trakker.com, and I'll talk to you later. Spectrum's got such supervision.